Hi, Claire of technology. I have butterflies, you guys. I feel like I'm about to go on a date. Um, Leah's joining. She's so talented. Ah!
Hello, how are
Hi.
you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. It's so nice to see you
Uh,
today.
so amazing. You look amazing.
Thank you. I actually put on makeup today. I tried.
Isn't it so weird? I haven't put on makeup in like a month, and I was looking at and I was like, I don't know how to do this anymore.
It is quite weird. It
Yeah.
is very, very weird. I used to do the whole fake eyelash situation, and that is completely beyond my comprehension now.
I stuck this on. I just looked at myself and was like, I feel like I haven't seen this woman in a long time.
Right? You're like, that's me with blush and color on my face? No way.
Oh, I don't know how to use blush. It's like the most embarrassing thing
It's
ever.
either too much or it's not enough. Like
Mhm.
it's kind of hard to gauge the in between.
Yeah. If we have like a makeup artist guru in this chat, please teach us. Tell us what to do.
Nice. My sister helps me with that. It's funny. She's younger than me, but I remember she taught me how to use a beauty blender. I remember I tried using it dry once, and she was like, "You don't know what you're doing."
Yeah, yeah. My cousin does the same thing to me where because I used to not wear sunscreen and she got very
No, you used to
yeah,
not wear
I know.
sunscreen. Come on,
It's
Sarah.
like I know, it's
That's
like the
the
basics
one
thing.
thing.
Yeah. We're learning. I do have a surprise for you because I saw
What is
your
it?
story the other day.
Did you make that yourself?
No, I didn't. Girl, no.
Dude, let me tell you, honestly, it wasn't worth it. Like, it was really, really tasty, but
Mhm.
it cost so much to order the boba pearls and the condensed milk, and then I made it too sweet. And I just want to say, like, if anyone ever wonders why their boba is so expensive, it's really hard to make.
Oh,
Like, it's hard to make at all.
that's good to know because I looked at how to make it and I knew like as I was doing I was like I can't do this. This is beyond my ability. But I was very impressed that you made it.
If you hand make it yourself, it takes a really long time. But I just did like a pack of boba bubbles where you like throw it in
Mhm.
for 10 minutes, but it was hard. It was actually a lot.
How do you say it? Do you call it bubble tea or boba? Because apparently there's like a few different ways to say it.
I call it I call it boba tea or bubble tea.
Okay,
My
I
boyfriend
do
calls it
too.
milk tea. It
No,
has a
well, I
bunch of
call it
different
bubble tea, and
names.
then my friends were like, "Sarah, it's boba," and I'm like, "Oh,
Bubble tea. Well, I don't know because I've actually had bubbles that are clear that pop before
hmm
in like a jelly kind of substance. So that might be bubble tea, but this is specifically boba because of the tapioca pearls.
well, we're learning here. We're
We're
educated.
learning. You learn
We're
something
learning."
new every day.
Well, viewers, this is Leah Lewis, the star, the amazing shiny star from Netflix is the half of it,
Oh, you're so
directed and
sweet.
created by Alice Wu. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. You will probably cry, bring tissues. Good movie to watch in quarantine. It touches on a lot about loneliness and connection, what it means to find love. When I interviewed Leah, she had an amazing quote that I'm not going to try to paraphrase because I will butcher it. But it was something along the lines of, "It's not a love story, but it is. It's a very different kind of love story."
It's kind of like a self-love story. You know, it's interesting because we see Ellie, this really isolated character who has never really experienced life outside her box and outside of her routine, and that is like taking care of her dad and writing papers for people at school, and honestly, kind of getting bullied in high school on the side sometimes by people who really misunderstand that she's Asian and she doesn't really have the community around her. And she doesn't really see herself at all. She just kind of is a character in her own life until she meets these characters like Paul and like Aster, who finally see her for something more than that. And then finally, she starts to find that self love. And I feel like, other than her falling in love with Aster and I think platonically learning to love Paul, she learns to love herself through all of these different situations where she sees that she can actually handle herself. And she wouldn't have gotten to know herself had she not met these characters too.
It's so beautiful watching Ellie through Paul's eyes because he doesn't see her as like
Oh, so
underdog. He sees her
sweet.
as like this amazing, like the talent show scene was is so just beautiful. Like the entire movie was beautiful. But you
Mm, thank
yourself,
you.
you're a singer, and I'm actually kind of mad because I saw that you have been performing at Taylor Swift on Instagram Live, and I
Ah,
missed
yes,
it.
I do. I mean, every once in a while I get really bored and I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna go on live and play. But the funny thing is, it's like I never really finished these songs or have played these songs before, so I'm just kind of putzing around on live. But yes, I do sing. I write my own music, but I haven't put any out.
I mean, that's amazing. Well, we
Thank
know where
you.
you're going to go in the next track of your career.
We'll
Um,
see. High School Musical, baby. I don't
High School
know.
Musical. It's your turn to shine.
I
Um,
wish. Oh my God, I'm so past that. I wish.
we got a ton of fan questions, which
Sweet.
is so amazing because this movie has been out for, I want to say, a month.
Oh my gosh. Sorry, there's like a bee. There's like a bee in my house. Sorry. Okay. Sorry, continue. Sorry.
um, I completely forgot. Oh yeah, so the movie's been out for, I want to say, like a month now. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I
Wow.
talked to you like right when or like actually I talked to you, I think it was like a Friday before it came out. Let's talk about the reception because it's blown the internet away.
Oh my God, dude. I remember reading comments and just listening to people's stories was like bringing me to tears. I was like sharing it with Alexis and my boyfriend and Daniel and Alice. And it's just like seeing how interactive everybody is with even just the way that people were interpreting things with their art and reaching out and making videos and stuff. It was just like to see that it touched people like that. It was really a really big privilege, and it was really overwhelming. It was like, oh my God, like wow, people actually really cared about this movie, and they noticed the little details, which I think as an actor and just any kind of performer, it's such a treat to see that people understood what you did and why you did what you did on screen.
I love the Twitter threads are like, here's like all like the symbolism and like the details.
Yeah, and
I'm just like, we have scholars on the internet.
that's so
Like,
Alice
it's
Wu, you know?
amazing.
It's like, thank you for noticing that Alice Wu is an incredible director and writer. And she pays attention to details like that. And without those details, this world wouldn't have been so fully fledged.
Absolutely. And because, well, something that I remember I had a question to ask you in our interview that we didn't get to, but I saw that you had to learn how to speak Mandarin for the movie.
I did. I did have to learn how to speak Mandarin. I remember I started a couple months before just because that is a language that, I've taken lessons when I was younger, but unfortunately I just didn't retain them.
It's
My
hard.
mom made me take lessons and I just wasn't ready for that. It's quite a difficult language. And I was pretty daunted by it, but I worked through it and Alice was so wonderful and patient and she guided me through all of it. But my Mandarin coach was incredible. We worked every week, like twice a week.
Mhm.
And it was a really cool experience to be able to speak a language so dear to the storyline, but something that I personally do not speak.
It's a really difficult language. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I am from China and moved here when I was 6. And, like, my own Mandarin is a little bit questionable. My mom looks at me and she's just like,
It's
like
hard. It's
it's
hard
so
here, especially when
hard.
you're not practicing. It's such an intricate language with so many intonations.
Yeah.
It's very difficult,
And it
but a
really goes to
beautiful
show.
one nonetheless.
Yeah, and I think it really goes to show how important like community is in that sense. Like we need to be around other Asian Americans just to really show off our culture because it's such a beautiful one. And whether you're discovering it now or later in life, like I love movies like this because it really shows like the diversity of the Asian American experience.
I think so too. And I think, a lot of people have in their mind a picture of what the Asian American experience looks like. And for some people, it is kind of the typical, oh, like the nerd, which Ellie would be classified as to the regular eye who don't really know her that well. And her life is so much more rich than that. And she has so many more qualities and attributes that make her so far beyond any stereotypical thought of what your typical Asian would be, maybe in a small town. And I think it's important that these stories are told and that these pictures are painted because I mean, like, my story is completely different than Ellie Chu's, but it is also an Asian American experience. I mean, your experience is also completely different, but it's still an experience, which it's really cool seeing nowadays those are being told more in the industry because it's like, yes, finally, like we get to explore that and see people that look like us and don't look like us as well, but are centered around the same culture.
Oh, it's amazing. What is like your dream role as we're talking about, embracing new stories? Gonna pick any. Is it superhero? Is it action? Spill your secret.
I think my dream role would probably be a really quippy, sarcastic badass who has to kind of like physically exert herself in all situations. I'm thinking like super bad, but
Ooh.
in in my own stylistic, maybe Chinese kind of way, maybe like a ninja type situation.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, I don't
Should
know.
we start
I would
pitching?
love to play like an action character. I love working out and just like physical roles. I feel like being in an action film would be really cool.
So we need to find you like a action role where you can sing and do stunts.
Yes. Oh my gosh, there's actually this new show on the CW coming out called Kung Fu, I
Ooh.
think. And I'm like, hello, I want to get a star on that. Like, that looks really cool.
I love CW shows. Like growing up,
Me
I watched
too.
The Vampire Diaries, like Gossip Girl, like all those shows. I
Oh,
just never
Gossip
watched.
Girl, The 100? Are you kidding me? I watched that show
Mhm.
and I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is awesome. Actually, like a show like that would be really,
Yeah.
really cool to be on, where you're fighting for your life constantly and your hair's in braids and you have dirt all over your face.
Was there like one show or movie or, anything in particular that made you want to start acting?
I think for me, it was never a particular project. I mean, I grew up watching certain projects that definitely inspired me. I remember like really clinging to Singing in the Rain when I was younger. That movie was like my go-to acting, singing, dancing. Like, this is what I want to do when I grow up. But I feel like for me, rather than projects, it was just more the feeling of how it feels when I deliver when I am acting and the rewards I get from performing and kind of seeing like the audience's perspective and their take on it and their enjoyment of it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And you are so. I guess I can't call you young because we're the same age. But like
We are. I love
we
it.
are the same age. What is your sign?
My sign, I'm a Pisces.
Okay, I can see that.
Wait. No, I'm a Sagittarius.
When's your birthday?
December 9th.
Okay.
Sagittarius, yes.
Okay. But you're so young, and you got to work on what I'd say is like it's a project that means so much to people because like I read all the reviews. I saw that it was included in like the Times. Like, was it like the best movies of this? Like, this movie means so much to so many people, and Alice Wu herself has been so just like an icon in this community. What was it like working with her?
She is such a treat, dude. She has not only become one of my closest friends, she's like a confidant. And I feel like, everyone has a first in their life. And I feel like she was my first when it comes to the first time I was ever able to step into the shoes of a character and really work with someone in such a close, intimate way.
Mm-hmm.
She has such a gentleness about her and such a patience that she has when she works with each one of her actors. And it's kind of tailored to everyone's needs, which I found to be just so wonderful. I mean, she kind of knows what it's like to be in the actor's seat. And she just held my hand through it all. And she really kept me present, which I feel like was so rewarding for me because I have that now. And she just had me soak in every single moment. And she just has such a brilliant mind. I feel like I really trusted her, and it was easy to trust her, which is so freaking cool. Like, I feel like we had that relationship right off the bat, and I trusted her taste, her style. And it was kind of like walking in blind, but just knowing that Alice was like driving the cart totally fine, which was not always easy at times, but it was really rewarding in the end because Alice is incredible.
She is, and I'm so excited to see like what else she comes up with next, and also what's new. Like, I think it just brought my faith back in the entertainment industry of like these are the movies that are so important and that touch so many people. It's become kind of like an internet like cult favorite now. Like I see people with like the half of it like usernames, like Twitter headers. Like I see so much of it on the internet all the time, and I feel like the overwhelming feedback that I've gotten from like my own friends who are Asian have seen it is that like stories like this almost never get told, and it does like that particular experience so much. Like it just gives it justice, and it's so grounded and it's so amazing.
Thank you. And that's everyone else too. I feel like everyone really helped paint this world in such a realistic way. I think the life that Alexis brought to Aster too really just solidified a lot of the different voices in this world of Squamish, and especially Daniel, who played Paul.
Mm-hmm. So how were the pork tacos?
Oh my God, they were so good. We actually made ones by ourselves in real life, and those were incredible. I think I've made it like 3 times now in my own household. When we made it on set, it was actually really tasty, and I was like, what the heck? Like, this is really, really good. I never expected it to be that good, but they made it really tasty.
They're onto something.
They are onto something, and I'm like, Alice Wu, hello, chef, miss.
I just checked the questions box, and there's a lot of questions in here.
Oh, sweet. Hi, guys.
Let's see.
My big water jug.
There's one that says describe your co-stars in 3 words.
My co-stars? Okay, Alexis is bubbly, energetic. Wait, that's the same thing. Bubbly, funny, loving. Daniel is loving, patient, thoughtful.
I like that.
Wolfgang is, Wolfgang, remember Trig? Trig is actually very thoughtful, precise, and educated.
I love the scene where he's just like, yeah, it's okay if you're in love with me. Like, I thought it was such an underrated comment.
Oh my God.
He played that so well. Like, he was so in the moment.
He's so funny. You know what's funny too? I was actually watching a recommendation from my agents to go see Tootsie with Dustin Hoffman. And there's a scene in Tootsie where he's like still dressed up as this woman, and he kind of mutters the same thing. What does Ellie say? What does she say?
I need to rewatch it.
She says, "Oh, great," or what did she say?
I remember the dad just like spraying, because that's also such like an Asian father thing to do.
Crap, I forgot what she says, but she says something, and Dustin Hoffman says something very, very similar, and I didn't know that, and then I brought it up to Alice the next day, and she's like, "Yeah, that was an homage to Tootsie," and I was like, "Wow, I didn't know that." I wish I could have quoted that, but it was, "This is a nightmare." Yes, someone just said it. This is a nightmare. Thank you. Who said that?
We have
Gucci Zhang. Gucci Zhang. Thank you.
Yeah, amazing. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of questions in here about when is the LA2 summer book club list coming out? Are you starting a book club?
Oh my gosh, no. Okay, so we're not starting a book club, but for those of you guys who are listening, I challenge you to read Remains of the Day, No Exit, The Stranger, which can be some of these are like kind of dark, so like if you don't really like them, then that's okay. But I did, and they're kind of referenced in the film. What's another one that's really good? Did I say no? I said No Exit. Yes, and do No Exit. Start off with those 3. I actually had to read No Exit before we even did any chemistry reads. Alice had me read No Exit and kind of study up on that, and then chat with her about it.
It's a heavy play, and it's an influential play, because we see it quoted all the time. So I majored in English, and I'm quite a nerd, but you never realize like how influential a piece of work is until you see it in reference to like other pieces of work. And I think that's also what I like so much about this movie, is that it's such a standalone film, but it draws in so many influential factors from just like other works of art. And I think that like that is the spirit of art, just like collaboration and taking on a message from someone else and just keeping that alive.
Absolutely. I feel like Alice Wu kind of like weaved together this blanket of like really amazing quotes and stories in the comments and just literature that is, it just plays so well into the story. And I feel like when I read No Exit, I was really able to draw the parallels between all the characters staying within their own confines of what you would say, I mean, hell is, rather, for all of them. And it just helped me kind of draw closer to the world. I was really able to see like the limited mindset that of these characters were in, compared to the ones that were in the play as well of No Exit. And it was just like, wow, like that's awesome. There were so many Easter eggs in here that I feel like Alice left behind for people to kind of pick at and latch on to.
And people found them. I have not seen the internet go this crazy over like Easter eggs since like Taylor Swift dropping an album, which is like such a good compliment.
That's awesome.
Oh God, so many amazing questions in here. What is Ellie Chu doing right now in quarantine?
Ellie Chu or Leah Lou?
Both.
Okay, so Ellie Chu, her life is quarantine. So she's just like, she's at home doing her thing. I'd imagine she's eating Popeyes with her dad and reading and writing and probably not hanging out with Esther, but maybe like texting her or sending her letters because social distancing. Leah Lou in quarantine is doing the same thing. I'm actually social distancing very heavily because I have a couple people on the compound where I live who have autoimmune disorders. So we're being very, very careful here. But I am reading, writing, singing, eating so much food. Can someone just like put the reins on that? I've been working out in the garage. I've been walking around a lot and just taking like road trips and trying to enjoy this downtime and stay connected. Leah Lou's been chatting with her friends.
And you're doing everything that we can do. This is such an interesting time in kind of like grounding ourselves and like figuring out, what is important to us. What do we want to carry into this next chapter? Mm-hmm. I found actually some of my friendships have gotten stronger in quarantine. Now that we can't really, hang out or, go out to eat, we really have to like just find time in our schedule to just like FaceTime people. This movie came out, I think I already said this, but like it came out at such an important time when we're figuring out what does connection mean to all of us.
Yeah.
I
would hope that people would call their loved ones after this movie and be like, I love you, I care about you.
That would be so cute. I actually called my cousin like right after I finished watching it, when I was preparing to interview you, and she just goes, Sarah, it's 2 a.m.
Oh, you're like, but I love you at all times. Come on now, girl.
No, it was amazing, and I'm so thankful that my editor Claire, I think she's still in here, let me interview you for it because it was such an. I like tell everyone this to the point I was like, guys, that was my favorite interview I've ever done, and I'm kind of sad for all the rest of my interviews having to live up to that standard.
Oh my gosh, no, we had so much fun that day. I'm so happy that we got to do this live. I've definitely been looking forward to this since we've got off the phone since that interview.
I know.
It was more like a chat with your girl, and I was like, hey, you're my age, and you're Asian. Like, hey, we're connecting on all these different things.
I know. I feel like we're having like a very like socially distanced sleepover right now.
It is. That is what it is.
Yeah, we have our boba, we have our snacks, we have 200 other friends here with us.
Nice.
So you're doing everything you just mentioned in quarantine. Are you watching anything in particular?
Right now I've been watching Friday Night Lights. I know I'm like a couple years late. Whoops. And I've been watching a lot of movies. I actually just watched this really, really gorgeous Korean film called Burning. And have you heard of it?
Mm-mm.
It is this incredible movie that is based off of this very, very short story, and I'll send it to you in private. Like it's kind of hard to explain, but it's like a very mysterious Korean film. And like I've kind of been looking up like different films from different festivals, and I'd say like also just kind of exploring the Korean film world with my boyfriend a lot, and that's what I've been watching more than television shows. I actually have a movie club with my friend Tunji, who is on Nancy Drew with me, and my friend Cameras, who's on Batwoman, and every week we meet together and we talk about movies.
That is the purest thing I've ever heard.
We try around here.
Actually, for Teen Vogue, it was right after Parasite won Best Picture. Because I love South Korean cinema. I think it's like they have amazing movies. But for Teen Vogue,
Teen Vogue.
I know none of us know the publication. But I I made a list of like South Korean films that I will send you. It's also on Teen. If you search, I'm sure South Korean movies, Teen Vogue, you can find the list. But I
Yeah,
also
please
just
do.
love watching movies from like other cultures, and it's
I
like I
do
feel like
too.
movies. There's something for reading, but like I've always loved watching movies. I felt it was like not. It wasn't so much as an escape as it felt like it was an introduction to like other worlds.
Hmm.
And that's my soapbox on the movie
No,
industry.
I just think like I think it's great that we have platforms like Netflix to kind of allow us to see films that are peeks into other cultures and other worlds. I mean, like it's such a different acting style too. So I feel like when I sit down and I watch like a Korean film, I'm like so absorbed in the world because I'm not really focused on anything that I know. I'm really just focused on like the storyline and just this brand new kind of art that they,
Yeah,
oh, a question
I
sticker.
know. I'm like learning how to figure out Instagram Live.
Uh,
What does Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month mean to you?
oh, it's it's cool that we have this. I feel like I feel like this month sheds so much light and so much history on being Asian Pacific Islander that a lot of people don't really know about. And to have that outlet and to have this voice be so loud right now in the community is like, it's really amazing to be witnessing all of this right now. It's a really cool month.
And yeah, it's really and it's I don't even know how to say it. Like I feel like the conversation around what does it mean to be Asian in America has been louder than ever, just kind of with everything like COVID going on. And it's so nice to see this community, take something that is so devastating in so many ways and to kind of take that in stride. And it's like, how can we help one another? How can we spread love and like positivity during this time that's so lonely and so difficult for so many people?
I think so too. I mean, there's absolutely no place in this world for xenophobia or everything that is going on right now. And with any race at all, period, that covers all boards. But I think what is important is kind of what you said, being of service to one another and really focusing on how we can protect each other and unite and make each other feel safe rather than focusing on the latter, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's actually kind of cool. I feel like the Asian community as well has kind of banded together and shed a lot of light within the Asian community in, kind of using each other's voice to create one voice to go forth and protect each other
No.
and shed light on all the communities.
Um, I mean, you said it so well. It's so much like it goes back to like community and connection and like how can we support one another during times that no one was prepared for this. So
Yeah,
in a
no
way
one
it's
was prepared for this.
no so like in a way it's like it's very humbling to kind of realize that like we have more power than we may realize, right? Like every single one of us watching this have a platform of some sort, and we can use it to like spread love and spread positivity and share the things that we love, like our favorite movies. And it's such a beautiful thing, and to witness moments of like kindness and joy and empathy during this time has meant the world because it really shows you this is what's important right now.
Absolutely. I mean, this platform right now, it can be very educational. It can also go many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
And to be using it for positivity and, you know, encouraging people to unite as well. I think it's amazing that people are doing that and we are able to do that and also choosing what can really educate people on
Mm-hmm.
what's going on around us and for all races and for all cultures as well, not just for Asians.
Absolutely. What was your favorite?
Question sticker.
It really just like slides
I'm
in.
like, hey.
What is your favorite memory on set when shooting the half of it?
I think my favorite memory on set was okay, so everything that has to do with the train station was shot at this mini hotel that was right across from the train station at the location we were shooting at. And I think that whole section of time was my favorite memory, that whole section of the week, because we were all in this little hotel. We were so close. It was like a house, honestly. We were all in these rooms, and it just felt like we were all like one little family. in this little house together. And it was such a fun time. I remember being like, hey, Alexis, like, good morning. Like, hey, Daniel, hey, Wolfie, let's get coffee in this little town where there's actually like no coffee to get. So we're going to make coffee. Oh, well, maybe let's like walk down to the corner store, which is like a mile away. Like, it's like the little things like that. I'm like, those are my memories that I enjoyed living my life with them around me.
I love that you guys have just developed like such close friendships while shooting this. Like
Oh,
watching you
I
guys like
love
interact
them.
on like Twitter or like Instagram is just so precious.
We have so much fun. I really feel like Daniel has become like my brother and Alexis is like my sister. Today's her birthday, actually. Shout
Happy
out.
birthday, Alexis.
Wish her birthday. And also, we're just, I mean, I feel like the moment I met her, her and I just like right off the bat, we're talking about the deepest things and just really understanding where we both came from. And it was like, dope. Like we connect. And it's going to be this way for a while.
Well, I hope she's having a very wonderful birthday.
Sweet angel, I hope you're out there. We love you.
She deserves it. What animal would you describe yourself as? We're getting hard-hitting journalism questions here.
Wow, you guys, I think about this all the time. I think I would be a